What day is it in your
We
world?
just play a game. I think it's a combination of the entire week.
How much sleep did you
Enough. Just so excited, you know? I mean, popped right up, ready to go again in 4 days.
Nathaniel, do you mind taking us through kind of, all right, you guys beat Washington. You probably go say hi to your wife and kids after the game, and then you just stay at work. Like, what has it been from the end of the game to now as you guys transition from just playing a game to getting ready for another game?
So, obviously finished the game and then had an opportunity to go see the family, which is great. See all the kids and stuff like that, and all the coaches and their wives and their kids, and probably got about a solid hour and a half, 2 hours with them to enjoy, see the sun a little bit more, and then you got to kiss the family goodbye and get back to work. So we all got back in right around 6 o'clock or so and started getting in just like it would be a Monday after the game review. So start watching and preparing for everything as much as we possibly can. Just try to kind of separate and get all your own responsibilities done. I think that's kind of the most important thing for that. And then today, just keep on grinding, and then slowly get the plan together. So I think we're on base or third down or something right now. Just trying to get it all done.
Did you guys spend, I know obviously Washington was the entire focus, but did you spend any extra time last week, maybe just putting a few things together for Arizona?
Yeah, so what we do is a lot of the coaches have individual responsibilities, and so everybody tries to kind of work Friday and Saturday at their own leisure to be able to get that stuff done. So we just want to be sure that everybody, because you don't want to jam it all in as much as you can after that game, because it just kind of clogs your mind. But at the same time, you don't want to do too much because you've got a game the next day. So it's this kind of happy balance. This is what you have to deal with on those Thursdays.
From a volume standpoint, typically do you not take as much into a Thursday game as you would, on a full week?
You want to try to keep as much carryover if you can, or even look at the things that you had planned for Washington that you might not have gotten to. And if it fits for your upcoming opponent, you always want to use that because you have banked reps. It'll be familiar for those guys. And then, sometimes it's completely different defense, so it just doesn't fit at all. So you do have to throw some things in there. But, you just want to try to keep it as consistent as possible, not put anything crazy new in, maybe a couple cool wrinkles, but just kind of limit those as much as you can.
So how many really quality hours do you put in after just sitting through a game, where you just poured emotionally and, physically?
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, how many really serious good hours?
You got no choice. You got to get the work done. So I don't know if there's necessarily a time limit on it. It's just, what you have to do. You've got your checklist. Every coach has a checklist. We're so specific on exactly what we do. You just keep checking it off the list. And, once you feel like you got a good time that you can go get some sleep, that's when you head out. So I think everybody being on their own, working a little bit prior to it, as soon as they feel like they're comfortable to be able to speak on what they believe in for this upcoming opponent, that's when they can get on out. So it's just a grind. Got to embrace it.
So what have you seen during your few hours of film study against these guys? They think they're like third or fourth in the league in scoring or something like that over the last few weeks.
Here comes another defense that is very good. These guys are very skilled up front. Again, it's going to be another really good front seven, and their back end is, they've got some real fast, hard-hitting guys that fly around. And their scheme is very unique also. They do all kinds of stuff, bring a lot of pressure, bring a lot of DBs, the linebackers. They give you a lot of multiple fronts, different personnel groupings. So there's definitely a lot to prepare for, and it's going to be a great challenge, especially going to their place.
So how do you manage it? There's a lot to prepare for, but you have a minimal amount of hours. How do you digest it all and condense it down to a...
Very carefully.
Okay.
Very carefully. I think it's kind of, you still have to stay within your process. So Coach LaFleur has done a great job on kind of setting our schedule up for tomorrow on how we prepare the guys through the walkthroughs, through the meeting time. So we still go through our process on how we're going to present it to everybody. It's just all kind of lumped in one day. So you just kind of try to, show them the basics, show them what they're most likely going to do, because they're in the same boat as us. They're going to have to do a lot of their foundation, just like we do our foundation, because it is a short week and it's a non-common opponent. We haven't played the Cardinals since I've been here. At least I don't think so, up to this point. So it's just one of those things. Everybody's in the same boat on these Thursdays. They're going through the same thing that we do, and it's just kind of who can bear down and prepare the best.
Nathaniel, it's been
a couple of touches for Tanyan or Lazar over the last couple of weeks. How valuable is it to get them multiple touches, in this offense to just kind of expand what defenses have to think about?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, you said it. I mean, you want the defenses to have to cover everyone. We've been primarily targeting Tay quite a bit. He's done a great job getting open. But I think anytime you can, get some other guys rolling, especially on the perimeter, both a guy like a tight end in Robert, I mean, even Mercedes getting a couple catches. I mean, those are all things that people are going to have to take those guys into account. I mean, even down there in the red zone, what they were doing, something a little bit different than what they had shown. They were putting an extra guy over Tay, which is something that, we all have to be ready for at any time because he's pretty good. And I thought Aaron made a couple great adjustments and was able to get the ball to Allen. So that just shows you, you got to handle everybody. You can't just take away one.
You've had 7 weeks now. This is week 8 of preparing game plans with a lot of injuries up front basically every week. What's the challenge of doing that, and how difficult is it to put together a game plan week to week when you're dealing with so many differences up there?
I think that's the fun thing about football. I mean, every week you go into this thing and you never know exactly what you're going to get. As a coach, we always embrace the challenge. And I think that with all these different injuries, all the things that happen, just in today's world, you never know what's going to happen next. You never know what's going to be thrown at you again. And I think that's one of those things, as a coaches, we feel so great in our system and what we believe in and the fundamentals and those things that we know we can throw guys in there. We know that it gives guys opportunities that hopefully they are able to take advantage of them. And I mean, you put the best plan you can together to be able to attack a defense and then try to put all the people that you think will best fit that role in those situations. And then if there's a change, somebody's got to be ready to step in and take over that role. So I think it's just every week, whether you have them or not, you're still always kind of doing the same thing because you have to attack the defense the same way. You have to protect against the defense the same way. It's just kind of who's going to be where. And making sure that the guys all know why we're doing things. Because if everybody understands that play and feels why we want to do it, well, then they can move into that role. They're not just focusing on one thing. They're focusing on the overall play and philosophy of what we're trying to accomplish. So I think that's why we've been able to make some good adjustments up to this point, and you have to keep on making them. That's part of the game.
How do you handle Dylan's fumbles?
I tell him to hold on to the ball a lot tighter. No guy that fumbles ever meant to. I think it's, and we need him. We need him to be great, and he's done a really good job this whole year. And I think it's for him to kind of reflect, go back to it, analyze it, look at it, and do a better job at securing the ball, because that's the most important thing to win a football game in the NFL, is be able to secure the ball, not turn it over. So he's got to challenge himself. We'll challenge him like we always do, and he'll get back on track.
Was he sloppy with it? Was he changing arms with it? Either of those two?
Sometimes those things just get popped out. You get held up, you're trying to grip the ball, and another guy gets in there. There was a lot of people in that pile, and so it's just for him. I think earlier he had popped one, did a great job putting two hands over the ball, and then, that happens. I've been doing this for a while, and even the great ones, some of the best players that ever played the game, that kind of stuff happens. And obviously he's upset, we're all upset, but it's something to learn from, and we're lucky that it didn't hurt us.
Nathaniel, has there been a change in philosophy, do you think, on fourth down? It seems like league-wide there's a lot more attempts on fourth down. You've had your share, but your opponents have had 14 already attempts on fourth down. What's changed?
I think looking back at the past, I think any offensive coach always wants to go for it on fourth down. I think that's just our natural instinct. And there's always been people that have been saying, no, you got to punt it. No, you got to kick the field goal. And I think now kind of the new thing is it's okay to go for it on fourth down. So I think we just needed a reason. We just needed the support. And I think a lot of those numbers have supported it. And when you see those analytics and they say, hey, that's a great opportunity to go for it, we're like, let's do it. It's something that we've always wanted to do, I guess. And I just think that now it's becoming a little bit more of the norm. It's not something that you're doing that's crazy or, why did you go for it in that situation? Everybody kind of expects it and wants it. Heck, you hear the crowd. The crowd wants it. Everybody, Aaron, wide receivers. And I think it's great, at times to be able to do that. And, you understand the consequences. It's a gamble sometimes you're willing to make, and it shows confidence in our team. And, that 4th and 3 that we scored on was awesome. It didn't look good to start, but that's just the trust in those guys and Aaron and Devontae being able to make a play. So it's definitely something that, again, I think offensive guys just wanted a reason to do it, and now let's just have some more plays.
The first touchdown Aaron had, Did you see Devontae open? Did anyone in your room say, or was that just something that Aaron kind of saw it himself? And where's that stack maybe in some of those field vision plays that you've seen him make over the past couple of years?
I'm glad you noticed that. That was pretty incredible. I was kind of screaming up top because I was like, don't throw it back there, because a lot of the time when a quarterback is running to the right, everybody's chasing him, and you don't know what's happening behind you. So until your eyes get back there, somebody could obviously get in the way. But I mean, that just is a credit to Aaron. I mean, his ability to see the entire field and see everybody all over the field and feel everybody running to him, and losing Devontae behind there. And Devontae did a great job not getting covered up. So I mean, Aaron's always been so good at spreading it out, getting that scramble drill. That's something that he's done for time over his career. And Devontae and him have a great connection. And I mean, when he threw that, just to have that accurate of a pass, running all the way to your right, throwing it all the way across with people chasing you it was awesome. And then Tay did a great job getting north and south and getting into the end zone. So it was definitely a scary moment, but those guys make it work a lot of the time. Credit to them.
So every once in a while, late and over the middle can be okay, very rarely.
I'm biting my tongue right now, but I mean, it'd be hard to say no. He knows I was probably freaking out up there. But I mean, you want these guys always to play, and you want them to play the right way. And I think that Aaron knows that that's always a scary deal. But at the same time, when those things are wide open, I mean, you have to take advantage of those sometimes. So it was funny. I got texts from some people, and some people were saying, "Oh, you're coaching throwing across your body now." I was like, well, hey, that's an awkward moment because you don't know how to react to that, but great touchdown. I was cheering.
Typically, doesn't the receiver move with the quarterback on that? But was that just a reaction move from Adams because he saw everybody going that direction?
Well, he was running a slant going inside, so his momentum was taking him to his left, and Aaron got flushed to the right away. And I think that he felt as though he was kind of already way far behind Aaron, and a huge area voided. And I mean, that's hard to cover for a defense. I mean, they did a great job in covering and rushing the quarterback. And again, it's just those two guys making a play and him sitting in that sweet spot. And I still don't understand how Aaron saw that, but he did, and it's good for us.
Did you ask him by chance that question? How did you see that? Because I don't know how he saw it either.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him that. I think he just has eyes everywhere around his head. He's very good at seeing the entire field. It's some of the things that he sees. I mean, I'm up in the box and I see him, but I've got a bird's eye view, and the fact that he's down there with people rushing him, just throughout the game, that he's able to see it. I mean, even the adjustments he makes on the fly from play to play to be able to notice things. I mean, it's unbelievable with just his understanding of not necessarily coverage, but just the leverages and the quick reaction he can have within a drive without even having to adjust it and see a picture is pretty impressive.
Hey, is that all instincts, or is that something, I mean, he talks about seeing when he's running, seeing the whole field. Not a lot of guys can do that, so can you teach
It's
that?
all
or is
coaching.
that-
All coaching. That's all we talk about and all we coach all the time. Just like we teach Devontae how to catch the ball like he did on the side. Coach Vrabel's done an amazing job. Luke Getzey, what those guys do. No, I mean, he's incredible. I mean, like I said, the way that he sees the field, it's unbelievable. I mean, you'll see guys that are open, that are 50 yards down the field, and I mean, the fact that he can locate him and then deliver the ball there is unbelievable too. So, I mean, it's just as a credit to how impressive a player he is.
Nathaniel, Joe's situation is Joe's situation. I'm not asking you to comment on him. But, last year was really tough for everybody. Now, we all have the vaccine, or many of us have the vaccine, but we have kids that are in school, Sydney's buddy London and everybody else. And when I got it after having the vaccine, it was because she brought it home from school. How challenging is it this year for you guys as coaches to try and be a little more normal, and yet that there's still challenges, even if you're vaccinated, that this kind of thing can get into the building? What's it been like for you guys as coaches, and you specifically?
Personally, I think it's the way of the world right now. I mean, anybody that walks out of their house, whether vaccinated or unvaccinated, it's something that's out there, and it's scary, and it's unfortunate, and a lot of people have been hurt by it. And I think, for any person, everybody's trying to kind of understand that could happen and take precautions the way that they feel is best. And I think for us is, none of us want it. None of us want to bring it in the building. I mean, none of our kids, none of our wives. But, I'm a father and a husband, and, I'm still going to see my kids. I'm still going to see my wife. So I think that it's one of those things just got to be as careful as you possibly can and understand this is something that, it's not going away. And it's a shame, but it's out there, and we just all have to learn to adjust. And if something happens, you got to embrace it. You have to embrace what might happen and adjust it and make it a challenge and a positive challenge, and just let everybody somehow find a way to succeed it.
All right, guys, we're going to go to Zoom. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yep, just one, Aaron Hager. Sorry.
Coach, I really enjoyed the write-up in the Washington Post this weekend, and it brought up a boatload of questions from your work with QB Collective, which is something I wanted to ask about this offseason, never had a chance to your preparing in what looks like with a very extensive wine collection. But the number one question I had coming out of that article was, the checks that have Star Wars names, do you have a strict original trilogy only policy?
It mixes up quite a bit. Originally, some other places we had quite a few. I just wanted everybody to be able to scream out all the checks in Star Wars verbiage. I thought everybody would really like that. And we don't do it as much here. Every now and then, Aaron and I will try to steal a couple here and there. But no, we don't use as many here.